Hi everyone, it's Kelsey McCarthy. For my final project, I have created an activity chart behind me for my students. This activity chart is targeted towards standard 4 for grade 4, the characteristics of places. Places have physical and human characteristics, and our goal is for students to be able to describe and compare the human characteristics of places at a variety of scales, local to global, as exemplified by being able to describe and compare the types of clothing, housing, and transportation used in different countries located at different altitudes of the world. So for my activity chart, I am really wanting to use this as a pre-assessment for my students. This is how I want to gain their prior knowledge on what they know about the characteristics of places, and this will really allow me to decipher where to really dig deep at the beginning of the lesson. So here we have the characteristics of places. Students should know that this represents a person, place, or thing, and that is regarding clothing, housing, and transportation. These three are really what make up the characteristic of places around the world. So I want for the students to start to mix and match. Here I have an example. It is two people on a bicycle getting a ride, and we know that this is probably transportation for somewhere else in the country. So I want the students to go ahead and stick it on close to an area that they think and just slide it in, and that paper clip is going to point to where that country is. So here I have another example. So this one would represent clothing. You can tell that this child has very withered, worn, dirty clothes, and this child actually has no clothes on at all. So we know that this is going to represent a poor country. And that just could be, students can go ahead and put wherever they think that that picture represents of the country. So I've got all types of examples in here. We've got transportation, clothing, housing. So we know this is probably more of a rich country, or the shopping looks a lot like our shopping malls here in the United States. So students could just stick that there and have it point directly at the United States. So we've got quite a bit in here. So this is kind of what the housing in Europe would look like. This is more of our local housing here in the United States. Here is a picture of the Dominican Republic, housing there. It's a very poor country. So if students are familiar or they can guess, that's going to be pointing about right there to the Dominican. So I just have lots of pictures. This is a mother and her child. You can tell she has her clothing. The child doesn't have any clothing. So it's probably, we could infer that that would be more of a poor country. So I have tons of examples. This is just going to get the kids started and really try to visualize how different things are from our local to the other countries around the world, what the other world's clothing and housing and transportation looks like. And then I want students to grab a tack, mark on the map where you have traveled with your families. Hopefully some of the students have been out of the country to have a better understanding of how really different things look throughout the world. And so they will just grab a tag from this folder over here that I have provided, and they will stick where they have been. This will lead to a class discussion at the end, and we will talk about their experiences, if they got to see how any of the towns or villages looked like while they were out of the country, different types of rules that they have, their clothing. I would also like to talk about my experiences being out of the country a few times. When my husband and I went to the Dominican Republic, I would be able to show them pictures that I took myself of our trips down there, and when we kind of traveled through the villages a bit. So this is just a really great start to diving deep into the characteristics of places. Thanks for watching.